Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees, wanted to seek the blessings of Radha Madhav, Radha Shamsundar, Krishna Balaram, Bal Gopal, Nrsimhadev Bhagavan, Jagannath, Baladev Subhadra, Gaur Nitai, Tulsi Mani, Haridas Thakur, Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, and the assembled devotees. So we're continuing on with the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. We are in chapter 35. Previously, last few chapters was a wonderful discussion about the Ras Leela and how the gopis were mesmerized by Krishna's flute playing and his wonderful pastimes with them. So chapter 35 is entitled The Gopis Sing of Krishna as He Wanders in the Forest. This chapter contains the songs of the gopis sing to express the feelings of separation from Krishna when he goes to the forest during the day. Whenever Krishna went to the forest, the gopis would sadly sing song of him during the day. When Krishna plays flute, the demigoddesses traveling in the sky become embarrassed to find that the belts of their garments are loosening. At the same time, Braja's bulls, deers, and cows become captivated by the sound, and they stop chewing the food in their mouths. The river stops flowing, their water stunned in ecstasy as they eagerly wait for the wind to bring them the dust of his lotus feet. So this is really interesting how even the wind, even the rain or the river stop flowing because the water is stunned in ecstasy. When Krishna plays his flute, the trees and creepers respond by becoming filled with fruits and flowers. Swarms of bees sing, and the lake-dwelling birds close their eyes, being fixed in meditation. The clouds thunder gently in accompaniment and shade him like an umbrella. Krishna is expert in all the arts of herding cows, inventing many new styles of flute playing. When he takes his flute to the bimba red lips and sends forth the tones of harmonic scale in variegated melodies, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, and the other chief demigods become confused by hearing that sound. Thus they offer obeisances. So this flute enchants the whole universe. This is just so amazing because who else can play the flute like Krishna can play the flute? That's what distinguishes him from any other avatar, because he is the original. It's Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. He's the original personality of Godhead. When Krishna plays his flute, the gopis become agitated and stand still like trees, unaware that their hair and clothes are loosening. Krishna is standing somewhere and counting his cows on a string of gems. Krishna would call the cows with his flute, different tunes for different types of cows. Sometimes the cows would wander off and Krishna would call out their name. He knew the names of all the cows, and there had a lot of cows, 9,900,000. They would love their names being called out by Krishna. So the lesson to learn from this is Krishna knows every one of us, including all of us. As Krishna plays his flute, his garland is covered by the dust raised by the cow's hooves. His eyes roll in intoxication. Oh, sorry, just this little bit here. He wears a garland of tulsi leaves that bear the fragrance of his beloved. He has thrown his arm over the shoulder of an affectionate cowherd boyfriend. When Krishna is returning to Vraj, he constantly plays his flute while his young companions chant his glories, and Brahma and other chief demigods come to worship his lotus feet. As he plays his flute, his garland is covered by the dust raised by the cow's hoofs. His eyes roll in intoxication as he repeatedly greets all his friends upon returning home. Enhanced by his fatigue, he creates an ecstatic festival for everyone's eyes. With his cheerful face resembling the moon, Lord of the night, the Lord of the Yadus, moves with the grace of a regal elephant. Thus he returns in the evening, delivering the cows of Braj from the heat of the day. So this is a song sung by the gopis. They are missing him because during the daytime they can't see him. He's gone to the forest with the cowherd boys and the Gomatas. So they're in lamentation. But in the evening, they're happy again because Krishna returns. Srila Sukadeva Goswami said, O king, thus during the day the women of Vrindavan took pleasure in continuously singing about the pastimes of Krishna, and those ladies' minds, hearts, absorbed in him, were filled with great festivity. When Krishna, Balaram, and their friends entered the village of Vrindavan, they played their flutes, and the boys praised their uncommon activities in the forest. Their faces were decorated with tilak and smeared with the dust raised by the cows, and Krishna's head was decorated with a peacock feather. Both he and Balaram played their flutes, and the young gopis were joyous to see Krishna returning home. All the gopis in Vrindavan remained very morose on account of Krishna's absence. All day they were thinking of Krishna in the forest or of him here herding cows in the pasture. When they saw Krishna returning, all their anxieties were immediately relieved, and they began to look at his face, the way drones hover over the honey of the lotus flower. When Krishna entered the village, the young gopis smiled and laughed. Krishna, while playing the flute, enjoyed the beautiful smiling faces of the gopis. So that's chapter 35. It's a really incredible chapter because it describes Krishna's wonderful pastimes in the forest. The slaying of Aritasura, this is the bull demon. This chapter describes how Krishna killed Aritasura and how Kamsa reacted when he learned from Narad that Krishna and Balaram were the sons of Vasudeva. The bull demon Aritasura then came to the cowherd village, making the earth tremble and tearing it apart with his hoofs. With his tail raised and his eyes glaring, he bellowed loudly. With his tail raised and his eyes glaring, he began to tear up the embankments with the tips of his horns, every now and then passing a little stool and urine. Clouds hovered about sharp-horned Aritasura's hump, mistaking it for a mountain. When the cowherd men and ladies caught sight of the demon, they were struck with terror and rushed to Govinda for shelter, crying, Krishna, Krishna. So these gopis, the Brajabasis, even though Krishna was very young, they would just depend on him. They knew this boy is very special. Whether he's God or not, didn't matter to them. He's theirs. And whenever they were in trouble, they would just call out his name. When the Supreme Lord saw the cowherd community distraught and flee in fear, he calmly calmed them, saying, don't be afraid. When Krishna challenged the bull, you fool, what do you think you're doing, you wicked rascal? Frightening the cowherd community and their animals, when I am here just to punish corrupt miscreants like you? Then he slapped his arms with his palms, threw his mighty serpentine arm over the shoulder of a friend, and stood facing the demon. This is Aritasura here, and everybody's running for shelter because he had a gigantic body and he was digging up the earth with his hoofs. When he entered Vrindavan, it appeared the whole land trembled as if there was an earthquake. He roared fiercely, and after digging up the earth on the riverside, he entered the village proper. Its body was so big and stout and strong that a cloud hovered over its body, just like clouds hover over mountains. Aritasura entered Vrindavan with such a fierce appearance that just on seeing this great demon, all the men and women were afflicted with great fear, and the cows and the other animals fled the village. The situation became very terrible when all the inhabitants of Vrindavan began to cry, Krishna, Krishna, please save us. Krishna also saw that the cows were running away. He immediately replied, don't be afraid, don't be afraid. He then appeared before Aritasura. And he said many things of which you already talked about. Thus provoked, Aritsa pawed the ground with one of his hooves, and then with the cloud hovering around his upraised tail, furiously charged Krishna. The Supreme Lord Krishna seized Aritasura by the horns and threw him back 18 steps, just as an elephant might do when fighting a rival elephant. Thus repulsed by the Supreme Lord, the bull demon got up and, breathing hard and sweating all over his body again, charged him in a mindless rage. As Aritasura attacked Lord Krishna, seized him by the horns and knocked him to the ground with his foot. The Lord then thrashed him as if he was a wet cloth, and finally yanked out one of the demon's horns and struck him with it until he lay prostrate, vomiting blood and profusely excreting stool and urine, kicking his legs and rolling his eyes about. Aritasura then thus painfully went to the abode of death. The demigods honored Lord Krishna by scattering flowers around him. So Krishna said to him, "Why are you frightening the inhabitants of Gokul?" This is before defeating him. He challenged the demon. Demon became angry, proceeded towards Krishna in anger, but Krishna caught his horns and tossed him away. Again, he charged Krishna with great force. While rushing towards Krishna, he breathed very heavily. Krishna again caught his horns, immediately threw him on the ground, breaking his horns. Krishna then began to kick his body, just as one squeezes a wet cloth on the ground. Being thus kicked by Krishna, Aritasura passed to the kingdom of death. Then the gopis teased Krishna to go to the holy places to rid himself of the sin of killing a bull. This is the pastime of Shyamakund and Radhakund. So this is Radhakund, this is Shyamakund. So when, let me see if, okay. So this is one of the most special pastimes that took place. When Aritasura was defeated by the Lord, the gopis teased him, "You've killed the bull. Oh, father, you have committed sin. You should go to the holy places, holy rivers, and bathe and cleanse yourself of this sin." They were teasing him. Krishna said, I don't want to go away from Brij. I don't want to go away from you guys. So he called all the rivers to come, and they formed Shyamakund, this pond here. And he bathed in the pond. Because the gopis were teasing him that you should bathe in the holy rivers. So he bathed in the holy rivers because they came. And then he teased them that you sided with the demon, so you are also sinful, and you should come and bathe in my kund, Shyam Kund. But the gopis teased him back, saying, "No, your kund is already contaminated. We will make our own kund." So they effectively made this Radha Kund. There's a big story behind that as well, but we won't go into that. And the gopis, or the personalities of these rivers, they also entered Radhakund with the permission of Radharani, and they all bathed in there, and Krishna and Radha, and they would have wonderful pastimes in this glorious, most glorious of all places. Rupa Goswami says that better than Vaikuntha is Mathura, because the Lord was born there. Better than Mathura is Vrindavan, because Krishna played in the forests in Mahavan. Better than Vrindavan is Govardhan, because Krishna lifted Govardhan. And better than Govardhan is Radhakund, Shyamkund, where the ambrosial love of Radha and Krishna remain eternally. So when we go to Vrindavan, we're very fortunate. We go, especially this Sangam here, meeting place, and we bathe. We don't go into Radhakund, don't go into Shyamkund. We bathe with water, little bucket, a jug on the bank, and we pray to them, please allow us to enter into this loving mood, loving devotional savor of yourselves, Radha and Krishna. This is appearance of Radha Kund in the middle of the night. And so many pilgrims come and bathe there. Very beautiful place. We were lucky to be there just a couple of weeks ago. After Aritasura had been killed by Krishna, who acts Wonderfully, Narad Muni went to King Kamsa, telling him that Yashoda's child was actually a daughter and Krishna is the son of Devaki. Upon hearing this, Kamsa became furious and lost control of his senses. He picked up a sharp sword to kill Vasudeva, but Narad restrained Kamsa by reminding him that it was the two sons of Vasudeva who would cause his death. Kamsa then had Vasudeva and his wife shackled in iron chains. After Narad left, King Kamsa summoned Keshi, this is the horse demon, and ordered him, go and kill Ram and Krishna. The king of the Bhojas next called for his ministers headed by Mushtika, Chanura, Sala, and Toshala, and also for these elephant keepers, and advised them how to kill Krishna and Balaram when they would come to Mathura by erecting a wrestling ring in an open competition. He also advised to position the elephants Kuvala Pida at the entrance of the wrestling arena and have him kill his two enemies. Having thus commanded his ministers, comes the next call for Akrur, the most eminent of the Yadus. Comes asked him to go to Nand's village, where the two sons of Anaka Dundubi are living, and bring them to Mathura on his chariot. He then disclosed his plan to kill them when they would arrive to see the wrestling match. Then he would kill Vasudeva and his own father Ugrasen, so he could happily rule the earth with Rajarasan and his dear friend Dvivida. That's the gorilla. Akrura advice comes that he had expertly devised a process to free himself of misfortune. Still, one should be equal in success and failure, since it is certainly destiny that produces the result of one's work. An ordinary person is determined to act on his desires, even when fate prevents their fulfillment and gets both happiness and distress. Yet, even though such is the case, Akrura agreed to execute the order. So, Akrura was a devotee of Krishna. He could have said no to Kamsa. I'm not going to go and fetch Krishna and Balaram. But he knew Krishna and Balaram were supreme personalities. They could easily take care of Kamsa. So he didn't disagree with Kamsa. He went there, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. So, any questions, any comments, please? Okay, we can stop there. Shishi, Radha Krishna Bhagwan ki jai.
Yeah, Hare
Yes,
Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Was the bull Asur?
Yes, he was Aritasura. Yes, he was somebody who was sent by Kamsa to kill, to disturb the Brijbasis. Yes, he was an Asura.
And in the end, Krishna kills
Yes.
it, yeah?
Yes, that's right. Absolutely. Yes.
But he wasn't sent by Kans.
Yeah, he was sent by Kamsa.
He wasn't.
Yeah.
Right,
Definitely.
because he wanted to disturb all the Rajvasi. No, yeah, is it Rajvasi?
Yes. He was disturbing the Brijbasis. That's right.
Yeah, okay. Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyway, Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Okay, so
Yeah, carry on anyway. Thank you.
Ki jai.